live the startup life, right? Because if you talk about
Yeah.
like an archetype of stress, working hard, putting a lot of time in, sometimes the wallet catches fire, mortgage. So that whole experience is under your belt.
I don't think I've had a day job since I was 24. I enjoy it. It's frustrating because it's challenging. But the number of times I've gone through this scenario where I describe something to somebody, they look at me blankly, don't quite get it. And then 2 years later, they go, oh, that thing you were talking about, I really get it now, right? And from a board game to Listly to I did this in-store TV, kind of in-store promotion with Raspberry Pis and TVs,
Damn.
doing local advertising for a bit. That was a product that I built from scratch. And then I flowed that I got into the personal growth thing and sort of journaling, meditation, reflection. And I began to realize just how many decks existed. That was how I got into card decks.
Is that how you're connected into the card deck space through the...
Yeah, somewhat. I had, one of the game here, there's a deck. Let's see.
Oh,
The Art of Game Design. So
sorry, this is going to happen a lot for people watching. I have that one too.
right, there you go.
Here's the book. Brilliant book, by the way. I'm going to explore it.
And Jesse is a fascinating guy. Anyway, so that was part of it. And you just, as soon as you start looking, you realize just how many card decks there are. And to my estimate, there's 100,000 unique card decks in the world. And that is a gross underestimate, in my opinion. I'm only counting English only, just because I haven't searched other languages. But I think even 100,000 is a low number. And how many books are there? There's literally, even if you just focus on ignoring novels, the number of business, personal growth, strategy, coaching books, it's a huge number, millions and millions, right? And we just see a trend that people are heading for shorter content because attention spans have gone, we're overloaded, right? And our attentions have shrunk, and the card deck is super appealing because it's a snack, right? And if I pick Jesse's book is inches thick, and this card deck has got 91 cards in it, right? Every one of these is a unique lens. I'm not going to remember all of these. That is not my purpose in life, to remember shit, right? That's what we have computers for. We remember less and less these days, right? So I draw out the thing and I remind myself of that. This is incredibly valuable because then I have the expert. I then got Jesse Shell sitting on my shoulder, a global expert in board game design, helping me because I've got his knowledge packaged up in a deck, right? I can go deeper on this. I can take this card and go to the internet and dig deep into that, right? But that's how we learn.
And I think if I can just latch on to something that you said earlier, and man, I'm not evangelizing for people watching these cards. It's just interesting how they connect because this exists. It's not to establish a argument for their existence. But
no.
The interesting thing that you just highlighted with books, because you made me think the other day, is that I have a very dear friend of mine, and we discussed this a lot because I like the old. We're going to discuss physical card decks and digital card decks in a second, but I like to have a good book in my hand. But the challenge I face, and I've spoken to a couple of colleagues and friends about it, is that whole question of recall. Even if you do the Audible thing, you listen to the audiobook, it's like, what is the recall? But then I think you said it when we initially started talking about doing the stream, which was compelling, is that it's not necessarily about recall, it's about application, right? So
the worst thing that human beings do, if you and I walked into a bar for lunch, we would probably order what the other one orders, because that's a very typical behavior, right? Yeah. And if you didn't, you'll probably order what you ordered last time, right? And in business, we do exactly the same, but that's the worst thing you can do. You should look at the full menu of options when you choose something. But all those menu of options are not top of mind, right? And so when you actually rely on other experts like Jesse Shell, right? Other decks, other content, every creator assembles their best knowledge into a deck. They make that snackable, revisitable, memorable. You can go deeper into it, but it's packaging up the best practice in a deck, right? And this is mind-blowing statistic, but 80% of people do not finish a book that they start, right? If you're an author, that's a good reason to stop writing. And if you think that is bad, do you know the statistic for online courses?
I don't have the number, but I've heard that it's insane. Oh,
it's
but also
94% of people do not complete an online course, right? So we're selling this snake oil that doesn't work. right? Not
And
me,
is it-
but the industry, the educational industry of teaching people content, teaching people best practices. We package it up into a book, we package it up into a course, and nobody's finishing them.
Because no one's using it.
That's broke. That is broken, right? And that's what I believe Card Deck solved.